Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. You're listening to episode 230, where we're going to be talking about positive thinking and how that is the key to manifesting. I am hypnotist Jim Kellner. I'm once again co-hosting for one of my favorite people on the planet, in the universe, really. She's the law of attraction hypnotist. She's also the #1 best-selling author of The Practical Law of Attraction. Align yourself with the manifesting conditions and successfully attract your desires. She's also the founder of HipTalk.com. Go check it out. And the HypnoCloud apps, which gives you access to over 500 hypnosis recordings right in the palm of your hand. So be sure to download that app from the app stores. Everyone, please welcome Victoria Gallagher.
Hey, so good to see you, Jim. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. And yes, that HypnoCloud app is amazing, but we have an even more amazing version coming out soon. And as I'm talking to you right now, I believe I'm talking in the future.
Right?
We're probably somewhere around late October, November. So we should be getting pretty close to launching the new version of this app. So keep your eyes peeled. But I do want to also mention, because there's so many people that think, oh, I should just wait until the new app comes out. No, 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 no. You do not want to wait until the new app comes out, because the price for the monthly subscription is going up and the price for the lifetime subscription is going away. So think about, if you want to get access to this new app that's going to have like amazing features for the rest of your life for a one-time cost, you should download it now, because all the lifetime subscribers are going to be grandfathered in and will never ever have to pay for all the new app. And I have a goal by the end of 2022. We've been talking about this whole 500 thing.
Yeah.
Well, I've been counting all of the audios that I have created over the last few years since developing that app. And I have created over 729 audios. So all of those are going to, now we're going to catch up, to what I've actually created versus what's actually in the app. And in addition to that, I am going on superpower content creation mode, where I'm going to be creating probably about 20 new sessions a week until the end of the year, because I really want to say that we have 1,000, 1,000. I just think that number looks better.
Absolutely.
So I've got some amazing new sessions. I was just actually working on a couple of fun scripts, especially in the area for my creative entrepreneur, my creative, spiritual minded entrepreneur, people who want to manifest things like high paying clients, manifest podcast guests, all kinds of fun things. So it's get yourself a lifetime subscription before this new app comes out. I'm shooting myself in the foot by saying that, because I really want you on the monthly, honestly.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I make
right?
more money on the monthly than on the lifetime. Trust me on that. The lifetime's going to pay you far more than it's going to pay me.
Yeah, right. That makes sense. So, as we're talking about this positive thinking and manifestation, I guess we could, kind of lends the question: why is positive thinking so essential for manifestation?
Well, duh, it's kind of a no-brainer. No. No, honestly, if you haven't been following me for a while, if you haven't been into this whole manifestation, thoughts become things conversation, our thoughts create our reality. So if we want to manifest something, positive, then we need to keep our focus on the positive thoughts, because the more we think in positive ways, the more likely we are going to manifest the things that we desire. And so it just really stands to reason that, thoughts become things. Want to keep those thoughts positive, and that's how we're going to manifest what we actually do want.
Yeah, and I think even from a just a kind of a practical point of view, even if we kind of take out, like esoteric type stuff and woo-woo kind of stuff, if you think about it, like, and I'm not going to go into detail, but right before we started this, I was talking to you about something that I'm ready to give up on. And I'm not going to, because fortunately I'm in a place where I can give myself that I can get myself back in that positive space. But I mean, just on that level right there, if you don't have a positive mindset, it's so easy to give up on these things.
It's so true. And I was literally thinking about that as you're sharing with me, because it just, to me, it really feeds into our conversation today. And, I'm guilty of it too. I mean, trust me, there are days that I want to give up on my project too. And, we talked about this, a couple weeks back, I think, where it's like, we're not employable, but it's like that
Right.
you have those days.
Yeah.
You have those days where it's like, oh God, is it really gonna, is it really worth it? And when we have those days and we have those thoughts, guess what? That's what we're manifesting. And so, and it doesn't, it is very practical. And all of this stuff, that's why I wrote the book,
Right.
Practical,
Exactly.
Practical Law of Attraction, because none of this stuff is really magic. It really is like that. Our minds, our subconscious minds are always
Yeah.
listening to our conversation. So what is our conversation geared toward? Is our conversation geared toward being upset and being negative and thinking that it's never going to happen, and those kinds of things? Or is it geared toward, like, okay, I've got to like reflect on, what is it that I want? And that's the work. That's the work.
Yeah, that makes sense. And it's, I'm just kind of, just real quick, I'm just kind of reminded of that saying, we are our own worst enemies. And I mean, that's a key component right there. Just that negative thinking will, you know, defeat you. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's such a common thing for people to think in negative ways. It's not our everyday normal conversation. It's so normal for us to find things like, it's a habit that we have, of finding the negative things to talk about. And, particularly, I mean, we bond over these
Sure.
conversations. It's
Absolutely.
it's harder sometimes to relate and have relatable conversations with people when it's like everything's going good all the time, right?
True.
It's like, oh yeah, everything's great in my life. And it's like, it almost sounds like you're bragging, but
Right.
you could really just come from the standpoint of like, well, I'm just continuing this conversation. Even if I'm having it with the outside world, I'm still having this conversation with myself, whether it's positive or negative.
Right.
This conversation is impacting how I'm going to feel and what kind of actions I'm going to take.
Right. I mean, everything we're saying to someone else is traveling through us. If we're kind of stuck in that kind of a lane, I mean, it is so easy to stay there, really, especially if you've got some people around you that are like that too, and you keep those negative thoughts going. How do we keep our thoughts positive with all the distractions? I mean, we've got, maybe negative friends, family, we've got social media, and just our own kind of programmed thoughts. How do we stay positive or get back on the positive?
I think it's really important to remember that, we are all on our own journey.
Mhm.
And what a lot of times the reason why we tend to maybe think negatively is because we might be comparing ourselves, we might be comparing our situation
Mhm.
to other people. I mean, so many people on social media look like they totally have it all together, and
Right.
so we'll knock ourselves down because it's like or you come across a website. I mean, a lot of times I'll just confess, a lot of times I'll interview people who are maybe they seem like they've got a lot more going on than I do. And maybe they've got, hundreds of thousands of followers on Instagram, or like you look at their website, or you look at, and it's like, oh my God, this person really has it all together. And you just make up these illusions in your mind, like they have it all together. I am not enough. I am never gonna get, to that level, or what's wrong with me. And so we have to kind of realize that we're all on our different journeys, we're all on our different paths. Maybe that person has it more together visually on their website or on their
Yeah.
social media, and they're just much more talented at being able to put that kind of thing out there. But I mean, nobody has the life that I have. Nobody has this. I mean, I have, so, it's like you have to kind of like look at what you do have, um and just become a little bit more aware of all the positive things that actually are going on in your life, and realize you're a unique person. And and so just slowing down and really paying attention to when you hear yourself bad talking yourself, or saying that you're not good enough, or saying comparing yourself to someone else's journey. Realize that you're different, your life is unique. You have positive things that are going on, and you can build upon those strengths, and you can move forward from right here, from this blank canvas, from wherever you are right now. Just because looks this way now doesn't mean that this is where it ends for you. This is just the beginning.
That is, that is really helpful to think about. And I've caught myself doing the same thing. I look at somebody's website or their membership site, or I was just talking with a friend this morning, talking about a couple of people that are just killing it in different areas. And I'm going, I want that too. But we got to remember that I'm working on different things, or I've got, we've got different goals, different ambitions, and different, skill sets, like you said. So yeah,
Yeah,
makes sense.
just to reiterate too, even my website, Hip Talk, looks like I have it all together. Like, I mean, it makes me look like a bigger person than I think I am, or the perception that people have of even me.
Yeah.
Sometimes, um, I don't answer my phone anymore, but I used to.
I feel you.
Yeah, it's like Uma, it just goes to voicemail, and a couple weeks later, I remember to check my voicemail every once in a while. And by that time, they listened and said,
Right.
"Oh yeah, I need to contact her on
Right.
email." I don't even know why I even bother having a phone number anymore, because I do not answer my phone. But there was a time not too long ago where I did, and people would say, "Oh, I was expecting, like, a
Mm,
whole, like,
an operating room.
entourage of people
Right.
that I had to get
Press
through to get
one for, yeah.
to you, right?
Yeah.
It's like, "This is Victoria Gallagher." It's like, "It's you?" It's like, "No, I'm just a small business owner."
Yeah. Right.
And, but, it's like so all that to say, I mean, even where I have gotten to, I'm putting off a perception that, other people might look at that website and think, she's really got all her stuff together, but they don't know all the little things that all the hoops that I have to jump through. And sometimes, sometimes I actually have to fix stuff on my own website. And we're all on these different journeys. And so we have to just kind of like remember to stay positive about our own journey, and just focus on, I think one of the biggest things is just, if you could just let all the judgment, all the people, all the other things just fall away, and just be, appreciative of your own journey. I think we would get so much further in our lives.
That makes sense. I got to tell you though, I mean, like we were just talking about, I mean, I think that one of the reasons that we get so caught up in these negative things is because, I mean, it kind of feels good, we kind of bond over it, like you said. So, I mean, I know there's probably some people, I mean, we're actually asking them to give up something, so, I mean, what kind of benefits are going to come for somebody like in achieving their goals and making decisions if they can break free of this negativity and focus more on the positives? Let's sell it to
Yeah.
them.
Well, yeah, I just really want to acknowledge that too, because we do get benefits from the negative thinking. We absolutely, otherwise we wouldn't do it.
Right.
And I think there's more unconscious negative benefits that we get. But we got to get these positive benefits into the unconscious as well. And the only way you can really get these positive benefits into the unconscious is by forcing yourself on a conscious level to actually do the work that's going to get that into your subconscious. So positive thinking becomes more automatic, because when you're focused on the positive thoughts, you're just going to be more powerful. You're just going to be more resourceful. You're going to be able to tap into, like, if you tell yourself that this isn't ever going to work, then you're closing off the part of your mind that has the resources to get things done. And, but if you tell yourself, I'm determined to make this happen. Like, I am committed to this. Like, this is absolutely working for me, and I'm patient, and I'm gonna achieve this. Then you're gonna make different decisions based on that attitude. You're gonna also be more able, like, to attract the right people, the positive
Mhm.
people and the circumstances into your life. It's like when you're complaining all the time, or you're talking about your situation, and it's like, other people's like, oh, I don't I don't want to get involved in that. Like,
Yeah.
and so, but if you are talking about things in such a, um, high vibe way,
Yeah.
then you're gonna, like, people are like, oh, what is that all about? That sounds amazing. I want to get involved in that. And then they're gonna be able to put you in touch with other people, and they're going to connect you with the right people, because positive people want to be around positive people. And when you're thinking positive, I think you're also clearing the pathway to be able to reach your intuition a lot better. And you're in a you're just in a higher emotional state. You're more stable. And then, of course, there's physical benefits as well. Overall, a positive mind is going to impact you. I mean, literally, it's going to raise what's the word I'm looking for? It's such a simple word. Uh,
Vibration or
your immune system.
immune system. Oh,
Positive thinking actually takes away the stress that negative thinking can have an impact. And so negative thinking is stressful, and negative thinking impacts the immune system, but positive thinking impacts it in a positive way. So, I mean, there's so many benefits to thinking positive, not just in regard to manifesting, but just in having an overall higher quality day in life in the present moment. I mean, it's like, if you're, like, everything sucks all the time, then,
yeah.
everything's going to suck. I mean,
Right.
it's just logical.
Yeah. So, what I'm hearing is that, the positivity is really going to help us to be successful. But you kind of touched a little bit on, it sounds like what you're saying is that negative thoughts will actually block our manifestation.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, law of attraction is the same for both positive thoughts and negative thoughts. So, if we're always thinking negative thoughts, we're always, just complaining, moaning, groaning, thinking, whatever it is, that people suck, the news sucks. Oh, did you see what the market did yesterday? Oh, do you see what's going, all the crisis, all the, we could focus on all of our energy on all that stuff and think like, oh, the world's just hateful people, full of
Yeah.
crime and full of, depending on like what we
Right.
choose to focus on or what we want to think about or dwell on, that's the world that we are creating. Now, in my world, it's things are nice, and I don't completely ignore what's going on out there in the world. I don't, I pay attention to the news, but I also just I compartmentalize it. And, I also, this is my life, and we only get one life. And if I'm not in a good positive vibe, a good positive position, I mean, that's my gift to the world, is to inspire people. And
Mm,
so if I'm not feeling inspired, how the heck am I going to inspire other people? And
true.
so, constantly thinking negative, um, you know, our manifestations are going to line up with whatever is on that thought train. And, because negative thoughts attract negative experiences, and all of that, causes doubt, causes anxiety, causes fear, becomes so much harder to stay focused on the end results that we want and to be able to take action toward our goals. And, like I was saying before, I mean, negative thinking can, take down our immune system. And so that can cause us to, become ill. And, there's just so many bad things to negative thoughts. It totally becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that, we're going to manifest whatever it is that we're thinking about. And so if we want to, turn that around, um, we need to recognize what these negative thoughts actually do to us mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And when we recognize that, we understand that, I think that just that alone can make it more appetizing to desire to think more positively.
It's a great point. I was just reminded of something where um, my negative thoughts, or maybe just limiting thoughts, kind of almost kept my wife from manifesting. Recently, we went on a little trip, and the only place open when we got there was a Sherry's. I don't know if people are, it's kind of like a Denny's kind of a place,
Uh-huh.
and we went in, and she ordered the steak dinner, and the steak was pretty small. It was kind of a small steak, and she liked the whole thing so much that we went back the next day. And when we were when we were going, as we are walking in, and as you know, but I don't know, maybe other people don't know, my wife's from Vietnam. She's been in this country for about 4 years now, so she's not familiar with all the customs and everything. So she asked me, she goes, when we're going in, she goes, will you order me some extra steak? And I was like, no, you can't order extra steak. You want another potato or something, you could do that, but you can't order an extra steak. And I've been working on this stuff for years to get rid of my limiting beliefs.
Right.
Um, and so, but then all of a sudden, when the server came over, I was like, I'm just going to ask. And I go, it's going to sound crazy, but can she get some extra steak? Turns out you can get extra steak.
Of
So
course
you
you
can,
can.
yeah. So for like a few bucks more, she got extra steak. And so my limiting beliefs, my negative thoughts almost kept her from getting what she wanted. So it's kind of crazy the way this works.
That is a beautiful story. And I absolutely, I love that, because our negative thinking absolutely can't, or limiting thinking, so the two are in my brain. I kind of have them synonymous.
Yeah, me too.
Um, but it's like, absolutely somebody else's, and that's why we also just kind of want to like listen to our own gut and listen to ourselves and kind of like not necessarily pay attention or listen like to, she, didn't need to listen to you.
Right,
Just go.
exactly. She just needs to ask
And,
herself next time. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and the same thing has happened. I've had limited thinking on some things, and my husband has opened my mind up to other things, and vice versa. I think vice versa is, more often than not. But but because we're always constantly growing, and we all have these blind spots,
Yeah.
and I think that was a huge one in that moment. It was like, oh, and so it's all about growing past a lot of these blind spots of the way that we are limiting ourselves, or some of the negative thoughts that we used to think. And so I just love this conversation. I love talking about manifesting and positivity and overcoming the limits and the negativity. So
Yeah. And like I often tell, actually I tell her about this, about a lot of things. I say, let them reject you, or let them say no. Go. I mean,
mhm.
at least ask for what you want. But I was still blinded, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
so
good call out.
thanks. Again, surprising to me, because I'm like, I do this for a living. How could I be that blind to it? But you can get extra steak, people. You can get extra steak. Uh, what I'm kind of wondering though, because one of the problems I think or one of the issues that people will say is, you know, um, are you really manifesting, intending for things, or are you just kind of fantasizing? And how do I make the distinction between that? And can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's such a good question, because so many times I think that can be really confusing for a lot of people, that, they think that, just you go into visualization and you're just fantasizing. So fantasizing is just really daydreaming about something with literally no intention of making that happen. Like, maybe you dream that you're going to meet Brad Pitt or some celebrity someday, and but down deep inside, like, you're not doing anything toward that. You're not taking action toward that. You have literally no intention, consciously at least, of making that actually materialize. And I think that's the difference between really the fantasizing and intending, because fantasizing is, there's no intention, it's just for fun. The same way we might watch a movie on, that we're not the characters in that movie. We're just allowing ourselves to suspend reality for a little while, and so it's just an escape, really. It's not going to lead to a manifestation without the intention. I think you really do ultimately need a little bit of intention. Now, that said, if you were fantasizing on that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, I think that there's some unknown, like unconscious intention. So I think you can have an unconscious intention for something to happen unknowingly. And,
Hmm.
and so if like, sometimes you just don't even realize, you have that blind spot. You don't realize that you really want something. Like, you don't realize you really do want to meet Brad Pitt one of
Yeah.
these days. And so, that's why you're continuing to fantasize about that. Now, on the other hand, though, intending is positive thinking while actually working toward making that dream a reality. I
Yeah.
intend for this to happen. Let's, like, in the let's put this in the realm of money. I mean, maybe you think about being a billionaire one day, but you have absolutely no intention of doing anything toward being a billionaire. And so that's just, it's just in fantasy land. You just kind of maybe, imagine yourself being able to travel all over the world and have people, picking up all your socks and shoes all over the place. And living the lifestyle of a billionaire, but you're not going to manifest that because you don't really actually have any intention for doing that. And, but if you actually do intend that, that means that you're actually actively working toward it. You're taking the steps, you're, visualizing it consistently, you're being grateful, you're, writing down your goals, you're asking people, you're taking action steps toward it. And so I think that's really the difference between fantasizing and intention is, you have the intention and you're actively pursuing it.
And I think that a lot of people are getting fantasizing mixed up with attracting, with law of attraction, and which is why I
Mhm.
was really drawn to your work, because you're talking about a very practical approach instead of just, like you say, daydreaming about something. I know a lot of people that have just had that thought that, well, if I just meditate on something, if I just visualize it, it's just going to magically appear, which is a totally different approach from what you take in the book, Practical Law of Attraction, and all your work.
Absolutely. Well, and that's why I wrote that book, Practical Law of Attraction, is because, so many people, it actually, I wrote it because I wanted to answer a lot of the questions, the naysayers, the people who think, well, if it's just that easy, then everybody, would be millionaires. And it's like, well, the truth be told, it's not as easy as people make it out to be. I mean, it is work to control our thoughts. It is work to actually, we do actually have to take some action, and sometimes those actions can feel risky for people to take. So, it's not just fantasizing. There's so much more to it than that.
And so, I've got to, as we're talking about positive thinking and manifesting and that kind of stuff, I got to think that if we maintain that positive attitude, it's just going to speed up the manifestation, right?
Absolutely. And yeah, and that's the key is keeping our focus on the positive, because when we focus on the positive thoughts, then we are opening ourselves up to unlimited opportunities. The thing about positive thinking I just kind of want to get back to is that people like to say, well, if manifesting were just as easy as thinking positive all the time, then we'd all be millionaires. But, I really want to call out that whole statement, as easy as,
Hmm.
because let me ask you, is positive thinking really easy?
It's easier now. It's certainly not easy. Like we were just talking, like the challenges I'm having with my project that I'm working on.
Yeah.
It's hard to get back and go, I gotta move forward. I've got to be hopeful at least. No, it's challenging. In fact, I'll tell you, I have a friend, and we get together occasionally, and I actually had to message him like a couple weeks ago afterwards and said, hey man, I'm really sorry. I feel like I was just really negative today. But I caught it fortunately, and apologized and said, hey, I'm sorry about that. So no, yeah, I don't find it easy necessarily. Easier now.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's not as easy as I mean positive thinking all the time, 100% of the time. And I'm not saying that you have to be positive 100% of the time, but more often than not. And I've even found myself, I mean, I've been doing this a lot, for a long, 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 long time. And I still have days that I get caught up in negative thinking, or, I mean, we all do, as long as we're humans, I think we're all going to. And if we were aware of just how much time we spend in judgmental, critical, victim, blaming, worry, fear, negative thinking, then we would realize just how much work is actually going on in keeping your thoughts positive. And the truth is that your thoughts are always sending messages to the universe, your subconscious mind, other people. So, what messages are we sending? And I've found myself too, I've been guilty of it, where I've had to apologize for, like, oh, you hear yourself when when you become more aware, you will hear yourself. It's like, oh, I was just
Mm,
totally going on a rampage, and not just out loud, but the
yeah.
thoughts that are going on inside your brain that you're not saying out loud. And, we have to really, I mean, they're all manifesting all the time. And so, pay attention, to how you're feeling, because that'll let you know what the quality of your thoughts are.
That's good. Do you have what kind of recommendations can you make for people to, kind of make sure they're doing a reality check while they're thinking positively?
Well, I think the key is to not get caught up in the magical thinking that there's a genie out there that's going to grant your wish.
Yeah.
Because that, if you think hard enough about it, that genie is going to just, grant your wish. Manifestation works, but it's not an overnight process. It takes time to align yourself, takes time to for us to learn how to focus our thoughts. It takes dedication and commitment to the results that we want to see. And then, even then, at that point, we may not actually get what we want. Sometimes that happens. And so it's always important to think positively and to be patient and to be realistic and to, keep our end goal in mind, and just you have to continue to stick with the process.
I love what you said there. I mean, that was a really kind of a reality check. Is you still may not get what you want, and
You
be
may
positive about
not. You may not. I do think that if you don't get what you want, though, it's because there's something even better.
it. Mm,
And so that's, you can always kind of like look at the silver lining. I always like to look at the silver lining and think, why didn't that happen? And so many times it makes more sense when you look back on the things that you were going for, and then you see what ended up happening um, a little further down the road. And so
mm.
I'm always kind of counting on that to continue to be the way that it happens in the future. If I don't get what I want, I can always go back, and there's a reference to where something similar like that happened, where I was disappointed. And every single time I was disappointed about something, it was because there was something way grander, way bigger than I could have possibly understood in that moment that was waiting for me. And so that's the way I like to think about those things. You may not get exactly what you want, but if you hold on for a little longer, something else is going to come that really makes that it makes it just makes it better.
I agree with that so much, I an example that people may find easy to relate to. If you think about like relationships that you had and you were really disappointed when they didn't work out, and now you look back and go, dodge that bullet, you know.
I know. I look back on like every relationship I ever had, like I wouldn't want to be in that relationship now.
Yeah,
That was for me then,
right.
but that's not for me now.
Yeah,
And I because I wouldn't have Steve.
yeah.
And so I'm so blessed, and each one of those relationships provided me a little nugget that I was able to use to make this one that much better. Like little things that I learned not to ever do that again.
Yeah.
And so it was they're growth opportunities to make you better for the next round.
Hey, can we just do a quick? What was the number exactly of the downloads for that you mentioned on Facebook? There was it was a huge number.
Oh, yes, that's right. So, for August, it was
Yeah.
40,515.
Ooh.
And yeah, that blew out um, I think the numbers before that at some point, because they kind of like went they were at like 38,000, then they went down a little bit, like for a couple of months, just a tiny little bit. And
Yeah.
it's like the stock market.
Yeah. Up and down, up and down. Yeah.
But yeah, so we went to 40, we broke through that threshold, 40,515 for August.
So I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say by October, what can the 50,000 people that are going to download this episode when this one comes out, what can they do to start thinking more positively if they're having trouble with this right now?
Yeah, I think honestly, and I do this every single day myself. The very first thing that you can really do is meditate,
Yeah.
because meditation is going to allow you to, focus on the present moment. It's going to allow you to understand just how many of these little buggers we've got going through our head at any one moment, the thoughts and the feelings. And of course, it's, just a great way to relax and de-stress. But it allows you to actually hear, and allows you to do that exercise of like you're going down that thought train again. You got to bring your mind back to the focus, back to the moment. And the more often you do that, the more often that in real life, when you start going down that negative pathway, it's like, oh, yeah, just like in meditation, I can bring my thoughts right back around to thinking about what I do want to think about. And then, of course, another thing that you can also do is positive affirmations. Train your mind to think about the things that you want to think about, set the tone for the day. What's the intention of this day? What are the thoughts that I want to, think about? I need to actually, reset myself and do some positive affirmations in the day, because it really does. It just trains your mind, trains your brain to think more positively. And then the third thing, and another thing I want to get back into doing again. I don't know why it's so hard. I'm just going to be vulnerable here. So hard for me to pick up a pen and write in the morning
Mm,
after I do my meditation. But then, something like, after I'm done with that, it's like, oh, I just want to go to work.
yeah.
I'm ready for coffee, and I'm ready to like start checking my emails. But if I could just stay in my meditation room, for this beautiful environment, and cozy, blankets and things, and just pick up a pen and do some writing and intend. How do you want this day to go? How do I want this week to go? How do I want this month to go, the year? What you're already grateful for. Just writing just brings it all to life. And then, just focus on things that make you feel good. I mean, I do take time because Velvet always comes in and to my meditation, and I'll just spend a little moment. I will just be with him and I will just hug him, and I'll just like be present with, so just anything like that that just gets you into that feel good state. It could be a really nice pretty song that you like, it could be just going for a nice hike in nature. All these things, they just allow you to reset your mind and set you up for a good positive day. And finally, there's so many things. I mean, I could just kind of go on and on, but just another one that comes to mind is just spending time with people who are like-minded and positive,
Mhm.
that inspire you. I mean, the more people that you spend time with, you become like those people, you talk like those people, you think like those people, you grow like those people. If you want to, be a successful business owner, hang out with successful business owners. If you want to be in a successful relationship, hang out with married people who are in a successful relationship. If you want to be more spiritual, or if you want to meditate more, if you want to be a kinder person, hang out with people who are like that. If you want to be nasty, hang out
Yeah.
with more people who are nasty. But sending that on a positive note, if you want to think more positively, you got to hear that in your environment. I'm actually creating this meditation in my meditation room, a wall of affirmations.
Hmm. Nice.
Yeah. And so I go in there and it has all the affirmations, all the things I want to think. And I'll, just be able to go in there and just see that, and of course I've trained my, husband to think more positively so that,
Mhm.
these are the, and, he was obviously, I wouldn't have married him if he wasn't
Right.
a, positive person, but, like, wasn't studying this stuff also for like 20 years, and he had some blind spots and things that I needed to catch him up on, and he's been a great student of this stuff, and he's even used it and put it back on me and caught me, and that's always it's the kind of person that I want, is like somebody who's like aware and having these kind of conversations, and so we can do that for each other now.
One of the things that I like most about the profession that we're in is that we get to hang out with other people that are like-minded in that way, that want to, improve the world, improve themselves, have positive thinking. And even if it's just, by listening to their podcasts or, watching their videos, and of course, get to hang out with them in person too. It's such a cool thing. And I've thought about that over the years. It's just an amazing, amazing thing.
Absolutely. No, I'm so grateful to get to be in a business that, I mean, basically, I don't know the difference between am I working or playing.
Right. Yeah.
All the books that I read, all the seminars that I take, all the people that I, talk to. I mean, heck, I mean, when we go out to lunch, we talk about business because
Yeah.
we're helping each other. And so like it's so integrated into our being, and it's an amazing field to be in. And I'm so blessed and so grateful to, get to hang out with these like 1,000 hypnotists.
Yeah. It's amazing. Hey, I'd like to add one too to the to being to keeping those positive thoughts or getting yourself into a positive mood.
Please
It's
do.
something that I find myself doing. And I remember Wayne Dyer one time, loved his work. He said that um, we don't sing because we're happy. We are happy because we sing.
Oh, yes.
And I've found that, like, if I'm in a bad mood and I can catch myself, okay, I need to start. I'll start singing Baby Shark, or some silly something, or Bon Jovi or something, and I'll just be. And my wife is laughing at me, but I'm walking around the house just singing, humming, those kind of things, and my mood just shifts immediately.
That is such a great, great add-on too, because I had forgotten about that, but it's literally true, and it is literally something that I do. And it doesn't take a whole lot of energy to all you have to do, I mean, if you have Alexa or you have your iPhone or whatever it is, just play some music, play something that's singable, and it'll just catch you, and you will, like, in the end of that 3, 4 minutes, you're there. You're in a good mood. You're singing along. You wanna keep going, and
Yeah,
it doesn't
exactly.
seem like it's even possible sometimes when we're in a negative, low vibe to change our vibe, but music and singing is a real instant vibe changer.
Yeah, that's what I found. So, hey, I think we've covered a lot of good stuff. If you've gotten some value out of this, I hope you'll leave a review, and maybe comment down below. The kind of stuff that you use to get yourself in a positive place. Do you want to take us out of here, Victoria?
Absolutely. Oh, and I will also want to mention that, I have a free gift for all of our listeners that is called the Manifest Wealth Meditation. And so
Mm,
all you have to do to get that is go to victoriamgallagher.com/free dash gift, and you can download it right there. That'll also be in the show notes. And finally, yeah, if there's any other topics that you want us to discuss, just send me an email at victoriamgallagher.com. Make a suggestion. I'd love to hear what you want to know about. And of course, be sure to download the HypnoCloud app for some amazing law of attraction and manifesting based self hypnosis sessions. Be sure to tune in next week for another amazing episode of the Power of Your Mind podcast. And I look forward to seeing you then. Until then, happy manifesting.